I have officially found one of the dumbest people on the internet. Okay, so I actually really enjoy Reddit for the most part. One of the things that I really love is that there is a subreddit for pretty much any category or topic that you can possibly think of. If you want to talk about it, there's probably a Reddit sub for it. And that's another thing that I really enjoy is the fact that you can have actual conversation with people. You can state your opinions, you can listen to different viewpoints, and sometimes with some pretty amazing people. Now, with the good, though, comes the bad. And when I say the bad, I mean the cringiest, the most embarrassing, the stupidest edgelords on the planet reside in Reddit perpetually. We are going to be talking about one of those today. Welcome back to my corner of the internet, guys. I am the Lucid Dream. And Reddit is just one of those places that when I am scrolling on my phone in the middle of the night, if I can't sleep, chances are it's probably in Reddit. And it's because I love to read different opinions. There are many nights I won't write anything at all, but I really enjoy reading people's comments. I enjoy hearing different viewpoints because it makes me think about my own. That's one of the things that I've always enjoyed about Reddit. But this guy, oh boy, I can't even call him a man. We're just a thing. I don't know. We'll figure something out. But this thing has got to be the cringiest, most embarrassing, most pathetic Redditor on the platform. So our very cringy edgelord actually didn't seem to start out that way. His original posts on Reddit several years back were fairly innocent. He actually starts off his Reddit journey with Harry Potter, the boy who lived. Now, I know that Harry Potter is enjoyed worldwide, but considering some of the ranting bullshit that comes out of this incel's fingers as he is typing furiously on his keyboard, it is kind of funny to me that he starts off as a Potterhead. He also has a very strange obsession with Marty McFly having sex with his own mother, which the projection behind those posts speaks volumes.
Marty? Why are you so nervous?
I'm just saying. So other than the obviously very deep-seated and frankly very disturbing projected desire to have sex with his own mother, this incel has spent the past couple of years making posts about random things. There's some gaming content in there, a couple of posts about Game of Thrones. He really loves cats. I'm just going to leave that there. But about a year and a half ago, he goes headfirst down the rabbit hole into the world of cop hating and First Amendment auditing. But this guy spends his time, and when I say he lives in Reddit, that's where he resides. I'm pretty sure he is a permanent resident inside his computer. He spends his time reposting these same questions over and over and over again in different Reddit threads, and then declares himself the winner of the conversation because he says that no one will engage with him when post after post after post are people giving him answers to his questions and telling him he's a fucking moron because he's not listening. He has no intention in changing his mind. I don't know what frauditor it is that he decided to lick the asshole of first and he loved the taste so much that he just had to keep going. But holy crap, he went down that rabbit hole and he has not come out. Now, a few weeks ago, he started posting on the r/frauditor Reddit thread. So Sir Cringy decides to post in this Reddit sub this bootlicker challenge. Now, the biggest problem with dealing with this guy is the fact that he has the mental and emotional capabilities of your rather average grocery store radish. And to be perfectly honest, that even might be a little bit too generous, and I kind of feel bad for vegetables just even making that comparison. But either way, Sir Cringy has absolutely no intention of actually making any kind of good faith conversation. So eventually the mods close the thread. We are going to take a look at this moron's bootlicker challenge.
Holding a camera in public isn't harassment, even if someone screams and cries hysterically. It is harassment if you walk up to someone and start screaming at them, trying to prevent their lawful activity. Holding a camera in public isn't disturbing the peace, even if someone screams and cries hysterically. It is disturbing the peace if you start screaming and shouting at someone because your emotions are upset. Holding a camera in public isn't violent or aggressive, even if someone screams and cries hysterically. It is aggressive and violent to try to have unlawful violence and captivity inflicted on someone because you are incompetent, corrupt. It is violent to attack someone for refusing to obey your whims and emotions. Holding a camera in public doesn't mean the person holding the camera is intending to steal every single thing their lens falls upon. It is stealing to walk up to someone and take their camera from them because you think your emotions should overrule all law.
Okay, so I had to group these four together for the very simple fact there is a finite number of times that I can use the words stupid and redundant without just driving myself crazy. So this moron is of the opinion that holding the camera, and that's why he starts every single one of these with holding the camera, is the root of the problem when it comes to these interactions. And his premise is just very obviously wrong, hilariously and embarrassingly wrong. You can tell he is very overdramatic because, let's be honest, I have watched thousands of videos, and I can't think of a single one where someone just happened to see that someone was holding a camera and started screaming and crying hysterically. So when it comes down to it, the camera really isn't the issue at all. The intent and the actions behind the camera and what's going on in real time is really the problem in most of these interactions. Holding the camera means nothing. What you intend to do with that footage means a lot. Now, when most people tell these guys that they don't want to be filmed, it has nothing to do with the camera. The camera is secondary to the posting of where that video is going. And when it comes to the posting, that is something that they do not have a constitutionally protected right of. You can post something to YouTube, but then someone can come along and take it down with a privacy complaint because you are not entitled to that person's image on social media. You are not entitled to use that footage on YouTube. You are not entitled to use that footage on TikTok. This moron has this hilariously embarrassing opinion that holding a camera means that you are holding a shield. And holding that shield means that no one and nothing can touch you. No one can approach you. No one can talk to you. No one can ask what you're doing because you're holding a camera. Now, the only thing in this entire challenge that this moron gets right is 1 through 4. He's talking about how holding a camera isn't any of these things. And that is fundamentally correct because holding a camera is a passive action. It is neither negative or positive. What is actually going on in these interactions and why so many of these go south are the behaviors by the person holding the camera. The camera is an inanimate object. It is absolutely irrelevant, and I am sure he felt super duper smart when he sat and he wrote all of these down, but this is really pathetic. I don't even know why he named this a challenge because this is just sad. He's talking about how holding a camera doesn't mean you're going to steal things. Yeah, obviously. Pretty sure when Brooklyn Audits got called out on video for theft, it wasn't because he was holding a camera. No one stood up and said, it's because he's holding a camera. It's because he's an asshole who happens to be holding a camera. When Kansas City Accountability stands in front of a bank and asks where the bank vault is, it's because he's intentionally trying to act suspicious for a reaction. Has absolutely nothing to do with the camera. It has to do with the behaviors. When Riverside Accountability went to prison for pepper spraying people, it wasn't because he was holding a camera. It's because he's an asshole who was pepper spraying people.
Investigating the government isn't harassment, even if public servants don't want to be investigated or exposed. Even if they say they are uncomfortable, it is uncomfortable to have police inflict unlawful violence on you for engaging in your rights in public.
Again, we have another irrelevant and redundant statement of opinion here. There are no facts, there is no evidence to back up his claim. This is just his opinion. There's nothing to debate here because it's an opinion he has absolutely no intention on changing. The only statement here that has any kind of semblance of truth to it is investigating the government isn't harassment. That in itself isn't necessarily an inaccurate statement. However, we aren't taking into account the people who are actually doing these things. If you were talking about someone who is going into a government office to actually perform a professional audit, no, that isn't going to be considered harassment. But when you have someone walking into a government office and telling the secretary she's fat and she's trash and she's garbage because she tells you that she doesn't want to be on your video? Yes, that is absolutely harassment. I seriously doubt this moron even knows the definition of the word harassment, because if he's referring to unwanted, uninvited, and unwelcome words or behavior that threatens, intimidates, or demeans a person, that involves a pattern of annoying, threatening, and intimidating behavior, which examples include verbal or physical abuse, threats, derogatory remarks, jokes, innuendo, or taunts about appearance or beliefs, then yes, absolutely, we see harassment on almost every single auditor video.
Okay. Hey, do you ever wonder if that make them feel uncomfortable if you doing this?
To be honest, I don't care what they feel. It's
Are you doing it to help yourself, or what are you doing it for?
I'm doing it because I can do it. And
I know, but I'm trying to say, is there a reason why you're doing it?
There could be lots of reasons, but
but are you doing it because you want to do something to help yourself? Like, are you trying to gather data?
Well, I've tried to help myself, but I've actually tried to work with them, and they're not willing to work with me. They're actually racist. They discriminate on people, and I'm just pointing that out.
This company here?
Smart Talent, yeah, they discriminate. So they're going to take all these resumes, but you think they're going to call people back? You think they're actually going to do their job? You don't know. You work here. You don't know. You haven't experienced what it's like to go to the bottom. This is the bottom right here.
Yeah.
This is like entry-level manufacturing jobs.
Mm-hmm.
They give you a flyer. They make you feel like you're gonna do a job. They'll never call you back. They'll make a million excuses. They'll say that you're threatening their office. They'll make all kinds of weird assumptions. And
let these folks know about that?
Go ahead. Yeah.
I really don't know what's funnier, the fact that Glenn Serio actually audited a job fair, or the fact that he is so delusional he thinks that the only reason that they are not hiring him is because they're racist, of course. They're discriminating against him. It couldn't possibly be that he is a walking pile of human garbage and has absolutely no skills or qualifications that would, earn him a job at whatever facility this is. Couldn't possibly be that, because, of course, Glenn is the victim. But let's not forget, he had his camera with him. He had his shield. He should be entitled to everything. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, wow. Moving on.
You can't provoke a good, competent, law-abiding public servants into breaking the law or refusing to do their jobs. These people need to be exposed and held accountable, not left alone.
Again, this isn't a challenge. This is just another useless, baseless statement of opinion. Saying you can't provoke someone into doing something without any kind of evidence to back up your claim is just an opinion. These people need to be exposed and held accountable. He literally thinks that anyone calling the police on someone holding a camera, if that person is holding a camera, then it's against the law that they call the police. That's how fucking stupid this guy is.
You can't provoke good cops into breaking the law and refusing to arrest criminals. Only bad cops would do that.
Okay, you're going to have to bear with me on this one because I am fully aware what he just said makes absolutely no sense. It is complete gibberish. It's not even grammatically correct, but we're going to attempt to work through this. I have read enough of this incel's comments to kind of know where his line of thinking is. So, as we know, he thinks that all police are bad. He thinks all auditors are good, right? So, this walking brain donor is of the opinion that if someone calls the police on an auditor, then that means they are automatically a criminal and they are breaking the law and the police should be arresting that person. And if the police don't arrest that person, that means they are bad police. I know. You can't make this shit up. You really can't. Next.
It doesn't matter if you imagine an auditor committing a crime. Your hysterical imagination isn't reasonable suspicion of a crime. It isn't probable cause.
All right, once again, we have a very nonsensical and emotional opinion. As you can see, most of these don't deviate very much. They're all almost exactly the same. There is a lot of redundancy here. But again, he's talking about the people making the phone calls that are going to report the auditor to the police. Now, here's the thing. He's saying, your hysterical imagination isn't reasonable suspicion. It's not probable cause. And that is 100% irrelevant. It does not matter. He wasted 10 seconds of his life to write this down. Maybe more. I mean, it might have taken him a while. Who knows? But either way, it's completely irrelevant because the person making that phone call, it's not up to them whether it's reasonable suspicion. It's not up to them if it's probable cause. They are not going to be thinking of that because they are just the average everyday person who is making a phone call to the police because they believe that something may be going on. It is not their job to determine those things. They have the right to make that phone call if they believe that something is going on, if a crime is possibly in progress. They may be wrong. There are many times people are wrong. But that doesn't mean that they're criminals because they make that phone call. It doesn't mean that they don't have the right to make that phone call. If they have a 400-pound sweating man standing at their reception desk for 3 hours harassing their receptionist because he says that he is exercising his First Amendment rights, but they have absolutely no idea why he's doing that because what normal person would actually do that, they have the right to make that phone call. Now, whether or not the police do anything, that's a completely different story. But this right here is mind-blowingly stupid and irrelevant. And Sir Cringy completely ignores the fact that many auditors actually have been arrested and convicted. And those usually start with someone making a phone call to the police to report what they believe to be a crime in progress.
If privately owned stores have employees that will walk out onto public sidewalks and attack random pedestrians for not obeying their whims and feelings, they need to be exposed and held accountable, not left alone to attack whoever they want.
And here we get to the part where he says the quiet part out loud. It acknowledges the fact that this has absolutely nothing to do with government accountability. It has nothing to do with keeping the police in check. It has nothing to do with the First Amendment. And it has everything to do with provoking confrontation anywhere they possibly can for a YouTube video. Because if this was about government accountability, there would be absolutely no reason for them to be auditing private businesses, which they do on an almost daily basis at this point. Because people have gotten tired of watching post offices, people have gotten tired of watching libraries, so they have moved on to banks and weed dispensaries. There is absolutely no guarantee that they would have the police called on them. There's no guarantee that they're going to encounter anyone in government service. So there is absolutely no reason to audit a private business, except the confrontation. So Sir Cringy needs to stop being so disingenuous and naive and actually take a look at the situation and realize, yep, you know what? They are doing it intentionally. And since we are acknowledging they're doing it intentionally, the next logical step is to admit that they are probably orchestrating a lot of these confrontations.
I got a hunch. We might get some attention from this. How you folks doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
It doesn't take more than a couple of brain cells to realize that, Sir Cringy.
If privately owned property has a camera pointed at the public 24/7, they don't get to become hysterical when the public points one back at them. If they don't want their buildings seen from public, build a wall. Don't leave your windows open. Don't build an entire wall out of glass next to the sidewalk.
And number 10 brings us to yet another very ignorant and irrelevant opinion. We have gotten this far without seeing a single fact or a single bit of evidence to support his side of the argument. Shocking. He also doesn't seem to understand implied consent. So he's talking about if a privately owned property has a camera pointed at the public 24/7, they don't get to become hysterical when the public points one back at them. He loves to overuse the word hysterical, it seems. I'm wondering if it is the only word that he knows. Anyway, implied consent is very simple. Implied consent is when you are giving consent with your actions rather than your words. So when you walk into Target, and this goes for any private business, public building, doesn't matter, anywhere with a stationary security camera, generally there's going to be something posted by the doors saying that recording is in progress, letting you know that this is happening. Implied consent is when you walk through those doors, you are giving consent with your actions, saying, yes, I am agreeing to being on video. You are giving consent. So there is a massive difference between a stationary security camera And one of these disgusting little morons walking around with cameras threatening to put women and children on OnlyFans because they don't want to be recorded.
Oh, I am.
You're doing it without consent of people, and it's kind of rude to just have a camera pointed at people when they're coming.
This is my territory, Ro.
No, it's not rude. It's very polite.
It's also really not cool with kids coming in and out of here.
I'm gonna blur them
No, we're
out.
not
Don't
here for
worry.
kids. You're the one with the kids. What are you gonna do with that
I'm getting
boy?
a film of you, though.
What are you gonna do with that little boy, man?
I'm gonna put it on the internet.
I mean,
All on the
don't
internet.
bring up kids. That doesn't work with us.
OnlyFans.
Now, those two losers that I am very certain don't want the FBI checking their hard drives are Mr. Ghost and his incredibly vile friend, Shockwave. Now, Shockwave, I am very happy to report, has since taken down almost all of his social media and YouTube channels in abject humiliation after this took place. I wonder why. The last thing I'm going to say about implied consent, because it's very obvious our very cringy friend has absolutely no idea what he is talking about because he is trying to compare oranges and potatoes. Now, while both are very delicious, you are not going to put butter and mash up an orange. They are two completely different things. When you are talking about a stationary security camera and implied consent, if you walk into Target and you decide, I don't want to be on camera today, you can walk out. When you have Tweedledee and Tweedledum standing in front of a private business shoving their cameras to the glass and videoing the customers, you are doing a couple of different things. Number one, you are very possibly causing that business economic harm because if those customers decide, yeah, I don't want to be on these weirdos' YouTube channels, and they leave, you are possibly costing that business money. You also are removing the ability for these people to consent. There is a reason, again, we stated earlier, every single third-party social media platform has a privacy policy and the ability for people to remove videos that they do not want to appear on for a reason. Consent matters. Whether you want to believe it or not, you can scream and cry all you want, but consent matters. And in the end, the person who doesn't want to be on video is going to win the privacy strike and have the video removed. That's all there is to it.
If you are claiming auditors regularly commit crimes and edit them out of the video to make themselves look good, provide some examples of this happening.
So let me get this straight. He wants examples of things that have been edited out of videos that we haven't seen, but he wants to see them. Okay, so since we already know that is going to happen, let's look at the statement itself. He's saying if you're claiming auditors regularly commit crimes and edit them out of the video to make themselves look good, please provide some examples of this happening. My sycophantic friend, if you can't spot and edit in a video, get your eyes checked. I don't know what else to tell you. Get your eyes checked. Every video that starts in the middle of a confrontation, you really don't think they have the beginning of that and they didn't leave it out for a reason? Even though it is absolutely not my job to enable this moron's stupidity, let's give him an example. This is a clip from a channel called Wisconsin Tyrant Hunter that has been since taken down for terms of service violations. The creator is currently in prison, and you will see why. He started this video in the middle of this interaction, even though he had the entire interaction on video, which he eventually showed the police, claiming that the woman hit him when she did not.
In the bill because I feel like it. That's why.
We're homeless. We're sad.
Yeah.
And you're gonna come over here.
She should have never told me to come over here then. So stay in your lane before you get your feelings hurt, all right? All right? You should be worried about, you should go click up with her and go, both of y'all go find a job. You worried? Okay, so what you doing here then?
This is where I work.
You work here?
Yeah.
Okay, then stay in your lane then. Get another job.
You're in my lane.
Well, this is my lane. 142 people in the building.
If you have a home to go to, you shouldn't be here.
Listen here, do I got a home to go to? My shoestrings cost more than everything you got on, man. While you're playing Beetlejuice. I just told you because I feel like it. It's good fish. 104.
If you are claiming terrorists and murderers wouldn't be able to commit their crimes unless they first held a camera in public, provide some examples of this happening.
Oh my God, the stupid is almost palpable at this point. It's almost like I can reach out and touch it. Okay, here's the thing. I have watched hundreds of videos. I read thousands of comments, and I can't think of a single one where someone has made this claim, saying that they are claiming that terrorists and murderers would not be able to commit their crimes unless they first held a camera in public. This is beyond stupid. Please provide some examples. You can't provide examples of this happening because it's not true. Very obviously not true, because murderers and terrorists can commit crimes without a camera. That being said, you would have to be the dumbest human being on the face of the earth if you truly believe that no criminal has used a camera in the commission of his crime. Like, literally, we should name you King Dumb right now, because that's what you are. If you really believe that no criminal has ever used a camera while committing a crime.
It isn't normal to see a camera and start screaming and crying hysterically. If it was, nearly every video ever recorded in public would be of the person holding a camera being surrounded by screaming crowds of scared and confused people, causing traffic jams.
This is just getting so sad and pathetic. It's just, this is not normal. Like in his statement, he's saying it's not normal to see a camera and start screaming and crying hysterically. Yeah, duh. No kidding. And it isn't happening. I have never, in any of the hundreds of videos that I have seen a person take a single look at the camera and start screaming and crying hysterically. I really think he's using these words because he thinks they make him sound smart, but oh my God, dude, you need to leave mommy's basement. You really do. You need to go outside, because this is really sad. Like, I don't know who hurt you, but you need to leave mommy's basement, because people are not screaming and crying hysterically at someone holding a camera. If any of you watching can think of a single video where someone has taken a look at the camera and then started screaming and crying hysterically, please put it in the comment section for me. I would love to take a look, because as of right now, this is just completely and totally irrelevant.
Security cameras and dash cams are the exact same as a camera held in a hand. Anyone can buy either and use them for any reason they want. They haven't been granted a holy exception because you really want them to. Anything you're scared of someone doing with a handheld camera can be done with any other camera.
Oh, this is so embarrassing for him. He is so pathetically trying to make some kind of valid point and just failing every single time. His obsession with cameras is really his undoing, because he is so focused on this whole camera thing that he is really lacking any kind of recognition of what the actual problem is. So we talked about stationary security cameras and implied consent. Dash cams are very similar. They have a very limited field of view and for the most part are stationary. Even though the cars move around, the dash cams inside the cars rarely move. You're not really going to see someone take a dash cam and go shove it up against the window at a yoga studio. I mean, you could, but it's unlikely. But again, we aren't talking about the cameras. The cameras are inanimate objects. They are irrelevant. The behavior of the person behind the camera is what matters. No one is scared of a camera. That is something that he has made up in his head, and something that a lot of people seem to believe because they can't disconnect from the fact that it has absolutely nothing to do with the camera and everything to do with what is going to be done with the footage from that camera. Now, do stationary security camera videos ever end up on YouTube? Yeah, occasionally. Do privacy strikes still apply to those videos? Yep, same thing with dash cams. It absolutely does not make a difference. No matter how much he wants to whine and cry about it, the biggest difference between a stationary camera and Shamu waddling around with a gimbal is the intent. There is no intent with a stationary camera. They are passively recording. There is intent behind Shamu, who is looking for a confrontation.
If you are claiming auditors are aggressive, show me some examples of auditors attacking people, robbing them of their property, or holding them against their will in cages. Show me heavily armored auditors walking into public buildings and demanding people give them their property and obey their unlawful orders. Show me auditors trying to murder people with vehicles or weapons for upsetting their feelings. Show me auditors doing anything aggressive, anything close to the violence auditors face.
So police are very obviously the boogeyman when it comes to Sir Cringy. He is attempting to justify auditor behavior by saying, oh, well, look, the police do something that is so much worse. You cannot justify one bad thing with another bad thing. That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. This entire statement is just reeking of bias and kind of invalidates the whole thing. Now, I am going to show you examples of auditors being aggressive and auditors hurting people. Starting off with the little shit from Impact Media that pushed the old man. This is actually not even the Brentwood post office where he is currently on felony assault charges for.
Oh, you want to try that, dude? You just
Back up.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
What are you guys?
Get away from me.
Get the fuck out of here, you idiot! Acting like a 3-year-old.
Get out of here. You'll get
You're a little punk.
You're going to get yourself, man.
And we are going to follow that up directly with Hoyt Webb from Kootenai County Press shooting an unarmed homeless man while live streaming, for which he is currently serving his prison term.
Just because people are homeless or on drugs doesn't make them a lesser person. I believe you to be evil by your videos with malice in your heart.
That was the emotional testimony from the older brother of a man who Spokane police say was shot near 2nd and Division on Friday. Spokane County court documents show that the shooting suspect, 36-year-old Hoyt Webb, also confessed to live streaming that shooting. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Kirsten O'Connor.
And I'm Derek Dice. The live stream posted on Webb's YouTube account shows the moments leading up to the shooting and Webb's arrest after pulling the trigger. Here's where the shooting happened on Friday, just after 7 p.m. near the intersection of 2nd and Division in downtown Spokane. Our Hunter Bertram with why Webb was live streaming and the impact this has on our homeless community.
This photo is from the live stream showing Webb armed with a gun strapped to his chest. Webb claims in a police interview when he arrived to the area, he got out of his car and said he saw a man with a machete. Instead of leaving the area, Webb went back to his car and grabbed his gun.
He's harmless, man.
Josh is a friend of the victim shot on Friday. Police say 2 bullets discharged from Hoyt Webb's gun, one hitting Josh's friend armed with an almost empty cup of iced coffee.
That's disgusting.
Josh was nearby when the shooting happened. He captured Webb being arrested and his friend lying on the ground fighting for their life.
I hope he has some epiphanies in jail. I hope he has some time to think about what he did and the fact that, like, he really did hurt somebody who was harmless and innocent.
According to court documents, Webb confessed to yelling at people and calling them names, which led to an argument between Webb and several individuals.
Bite me.
Shortly after that, conflict erupted around the block.
Drop the rock!
Know that I am here. Burn my face into your brain. I'm not going anywhere.
Said the brother of the man shot.
It appears that you specifically went to this particular location for your own entertainment.
Webb has a YouTube channel named Kootenai County Press, where he goes into public places and confronts people, initiating arguments. And that's what he did on Friday. He claims to have been documenting the Spokane homeless crisis.
You don't go around waving a gun around and a camera, you know. That's totally counterproductive.
Webb has been charged with first-degree assault.
Sorry, it was self-defense.
Josh also added that members of this area's community rushed in after the gunshot to help the victim and keep the shooter from running. Webb's bond is set at $75,000. His arraignment is set for June 25th at 9 a.m. In studio, Hunter Bertram, 4 News Now.
It's a very good way to identify government waste. If an auditor walks in and the entire staff stops working to stand around staring at a camera, do we really need all these public servants? When 6 cops show up for reports of someone with a camera in public, do we really need all those cops? If all public servants can do is repeat, "It's on the website," do we really need this big public building filled with worthless tax parasites?
So I am going to take a wild stab in the dark here and assume that our raging homunculus is not only unemployed, but is probably not a taxpayer and has never been a taxpayer. I may be wrong. I don't think I am, because there is no way in hell a functioning adult taxpayer wrote something like this, looked at it and thought, okay, yep, that makes sense. That's good. That makes sense. Because this is laughable and pathetic. Saying it is a very good way to identify government waste. Are you fucking kidding me? This would be the most inefficient way. If that was even what it was about, this would be the most inefficient way to identify government waste, because let me tell you, When a jackass with a Jason mask and a fake beard walks into a library with a camera and a gimbal and they stop to stare at him, let me tell you, they're not staring at the camera, they're staring at the moron with the Jason mask. That is reality. They are not staring at the camera, they are not scared of the camera. They're staring at the moron in the Jason mask. When 6 cops show up for reports of someone with a camera in public, again, I have watched hundreds of videos. 6 cops is not the norm. Very rarely is it more than 2 or 3. That is an overdramatic statement by a little drama queen bitch. If public servants, all they can do is repeat it's on the website, do we really need all of these worthless tax parasites? They are doing jobs that you are not doing because you are unemployed. They are telling you it's on the website because they assume, correctly, that you are a fucking moron that can't read. Otherwise, you probably would have just gone to the website to get the information you needed instead of dragging your worthless ass down to the building where they don't want to talk to you. And they don't want to talk to you not because they aren't doing their jobs, but because you're a fucking moron. Before we end today's video, this one is just for bonus points because apparently Sir Cringy has never heard of Rights Ruckus Revolution, who was trespassed from every school in multiple school districts for trying to record children. I wonder why. Apparently he has never heard of News Now Houston and why he is currently serving many years in prison. He, I guess, has never heard of Texas Sheepdog and his preference for images of a very young sort, shall we say, or NorCal Cop Watch. The list goes on and on. What we have is a clip from auditing Erie County, who is specifically targeting children, all because he was asked not to. Kind of a weird excuse.
If they say you can go in there, I don't have a problem with you going in there.
I can go in there.
Get the kids out. No, we need to get the kids out. I don't want them on camera.
I promise you those kids are not getting out of here, not going on film. Promise you. It's not happening. They're in a public place. There's cameras everywhere.
You can't just do it out of courtesy. I don't want 40 kids on camera.
My problem is not courtesy. It's more or less the fact that you're trying to stop it. Without authority to stop it.
I'm trying to stop you out of the respect for the privacy of the children.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 children, 13 children, 14 children, 15, 16 children, 17, 18, 19, 20 children, 21, 22. Yeah, they're learning about history. It'd be nice if you taught them the Constitution and the right things too as well. These children are on camera. Now they're out of that room, ain't they?
Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really want to give a big shout out to all of the contributors in the r/Frauditor Reddit sub. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you would like to see. I am going to leave you with a musical exhibit of all of this moron's Reddit fails. I will catch you on the next one.
Wake up to a cloudy day, dark rolls in and it starts to rain. Staring out to the cage like walls, time goes by and the shadows crawl. Crushing candy, crushing pills, got no job, mom pays my bills. Texting exes, get my fill, sweating bullets, Netflix chills. World's out there singing the blues, 20 more dead on the evening news. Think to myself, really what's the use? I'm just like you, I was born to lose. Why, oh why can't you just fix me? When all I want to feel numb, but the medication's all gone. Why, oh why does God hate me? When all I want to get high and forget this so-called life. I am so freaking bored, nothing to do today. I guess I'll sit around and medicate. I am so freaking bored, nothing to do today. I guess I'll sit around and medicate. Can't wait to feel better than I ever will. Tack that shit like a kid on Benadryl. Chase it down with a hopeful smile. Hate myself, I can go for miles. They say family's all you need. Someone to trust can help you breathe. Inhale that drug but you start to choke. You fall on the outs of an inside joke. Why, oh why can't you just fix me? When all I want to feel numb, but the medication's all gone. does God hate me? Cause I've seen enough of it, heard enough of it, felt enough of it, had enough of it. I am so freaking bored, nothing to do today. I guess I'll sit around and medicate. I am so freaking bored, nothing to do today. I guess I'll sit around and medicate. Superman is a hero, but only when his mind is clear though. He needs that fix like the rest of us, so he's got no fear when he saves that bus. All the stars in the Hollywood Hills Snapchat live when they pop them pills. All those flavors of the rainbow, too bad that shit don't work though. Your friends are high right now, your parents are high right now. That hot chick's high right now.